Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. The weather is slowing down, kind of. Pen's bothering me. Weather's slowing down, kind of. It's still pretty hot, but we're getting into fall. Um, Somebody keep calling your boy. I'm trying to record, but yeah, we're getting into fall, and I'm really excited for fall. Next month is my birthday. My friend's birthday is next week. I was supposed to take the day off, and I forgot because time is moving too fast, honestly. Um, so my camera was already set up in the corner, so I figured we'll just be in the corner today. So, um, last week I did my top 10 movies, all-time favorite movies. So today I'm going to do my top 10 all-time favorite horror movies. I will say I was going to put subgenre for some of these, but I did not feel like it. I'll be honest. I was on my period this week working on this list, and hey, it is what it is. You feel miserable, you're a little lazy, but I did the list. So next week I want to do my top 10 favorite albums. I think I'm gonna make that like a trilogy of my top 10 stuff. But I may, of course, the AC comes back on right now, but it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. But I recorded with it last week, so here we are. But yeah, I think I'm gonna just do those three, and then I will do something different. I was thinking about doing top 10 favorite like artists or something, but I feel like my movie choices can be controversial, but I feel like doing definitely top 10 artists is gonna be absolutely 1,000,000% extra controversial. But now I'm kind of considering it. But maybe I'll take a break and I'll try something else. There's been some books I've been wanting to read and review that I have not gotten to, so we'll see how I'm feeling. And then also like top artists is like there's so many people I love for different reasons, so I don't know if I could rank them per se, unless it's someone who like is really culturally significant, like Michael Jackson, Madonna, Aretha Franklin. I can understand, putting them at the top. But then it's also them among them. How can you rank them? So, we'll see if I do it. But yeah. Otherwise, I will. I have been trying to read and look at some of these books I have. So yeah. But let's go ahead and start. So I wrote haikus. I was going to try and do a new form of poetry. But, like I said, lazy. I didn't feel like really thinking too hard. But next week I will do a new form of poetry that I've never done. It's also syllable based. So a haiku, if you don't know, is a 3-line poem, and they have 5 syllables in the first line, 7 syllables in the second line, and the last line has 5 syllables again. Some of these I made less, and some of these I made more. So I kind of broke the rules. But it is what it is. So I'm going to start off by mentioning my honorable mentions first, actually. So my honorable mentions are The Witch. I've seen it one time. I feel like it was pretty good. It was like a slow burn. And I love the ending where all the... Oh, and spoiler alert. I love the ending of The Witch where all the witches are like flying in the sky. Because I don't know, I like when women have the little fupa, like pouch. I think it's cute. Gerald's Game. Oh, so good. So good. But it is also very depressing. And I won't spoil too much, but there's a person in the movie who is very terrifying for many reasons. Yeah. A Tale of Two Sisters is a Korean horror. Classic. Good. Great movie. One of my favorites. It's an honorable mention. It has an American remake called The Uninvited. I have not watched it, but I plan on watching it. Of course, the Korean version is probably going to be better. because all foreign movies are better than the American remake, pretty much. Shutter Island, oh, roller coaster ride. There's so many theories about that movie. Like, probably even now, you can go down a rabbit hole. You're Next. That movie was really good. It was really different because, you think, oh, this is just gonna be like, typical horror movie victim, and the girl turns out to be like she's a survivalist or something. I haven't watched it in a while, and she like knows how to make traps and do all these different things, and so they think the people who are behind, the killings think it's gonna be easy, and then they figure out it's not. So yeah. All right, so we're gonna start off with number 10. Number 10 is gonna be, it's controversial for me because the story wasn't super solid to me, but I loved other things about it. So it's going to be It Follows. It was directed by David Robert Mitchell. It was released March 13, 2015. The cast stars Malika Monroe as Jamie J. Height, a young woman targeted by the entity. Oh gosh, I didn't realize I put all these people. Okay. So Kira Gilchrist as Paul Bolden, a friend of Jay, Kelly, and Yara. I put all these people. But basically, some of these are like her friends. Oh, and I'm going to talk about, okay, so Jake Weary as Hugh/Jeff Reedman, Jimmy's former boyfriend and a target of the entity. Which in the movie, I thought they were like a one-night stand. There are other people in the movie, but the synopsis is a young woman is pursued by a supernatural entity after a sexual encounter and must have sex with another individual to avoid it. So it is a sexually transmitted demon. That's terrifying. Why do I love it, though? I think this movie was so beautiful and cinematically done very well. I would say despite the supernatural premise, it was still realistic, like the setting. Basically, it was just like, in your house, at the beach, in the neighborhood. It wasn't like too, far-fetched of like situations you would be in. So I wrote haikus, like I said. So the poem's called I Always Feel Like Somebody's Watching Me. Got a little scary song in there. Your every move is followed by something you can't even explain. So I watched it. I have to rewatch it because I watched it at my old channel. But How to Beat, he changed his name. Before it was Cinema Summary, but now it's How to Beat. He has a whole video about how to beat it. And basically it's just like running away, which... And then how they actually do... I'm not going to ruin how they actually get rid of the entity, but I feel like that's the part that kind of fell apart. Because I'm like, how is that going to work? How do you really know that worked? But I would say go watch the movie. It's really like, it's like nostalgic feeling, but like a 90s nostalgic, and like kind of a 70s-ish. It's like really beautifully shot. But the story, like I said, is a little, but it's interesting. Alright, number 9, Let the Right One In. So this is the original Swedish version. It was directed by Thomas Alfredson. It was released October 25th, 2008, which I think it said only in Sweden. But, obviously I've watched it since it came out. The cast is Carrie Hedy Brandt as Oscar, so that's a little kid. Lena Leanderson as Eli, who's like, if you don't know, I'm going to tell you about it. Hold on. Pierre Radner as Hankin. So the film tells the story of a 12-year-old bully boy who develops a friendship with a strange kid in Blackburg, a suburb of Stockholm in the early 1980s. So the 12-year-old boy is Oscar, and then the weird friend is Eli. Why I loved it? I loved it because it's very cute and sweet, that how Eli protected Oscar, and I also love that they ran away together at the end, which, I mean, had just ruined the ending, but you gotta watch it. So I'm not gonna say what Eli is, just in case you kind of like the genre. They're like a fictional monster type character. I'm not gonna ruin it. But the poem is called Morse Love. So they use Morse code throughout the movie to talk to each other. So yeah. Love taps what it wants to say, and we say what it is on our hearts. I love you. So I put comma and quote I love you. But yeah, I really want to watch that movie again. I feel like that was such a good movie. It's so cute. Like, I'm gonna spoil one of the scenes, but he's getting bullied. So Eli, I guess Eli technically is not a girl because I feel like Eli mentions that, but I'm gonna call them they, but they take care of the bullies real good. That's all I'm gonna say. But I love that. Like when you're being bullied and you have someone stand up for you, and they do it real good. Love it. I love that for them. I love to see it. I like to see it. Like that Monique meme. Alright, so number 8. So some of these movies I wanted to put on my favorite movies list, but they weren't fitting because there were just so many. So that's why I made this list. So one of them was going to be this movie called Raw. It was directed by Julia Ducournau. Ooh. They're French, so I definitely butchered that. Sorry in advance. So this is another foreign movie. It's in French. It was released March 15, 2017. So the main characters are Justine, played by Garance Melier. I am so sorry. Alia Rump as Alexia. So those are the sisters. I'm gonna butcher this name, but the first name is Rabah Ophelia as Adrian, who was like, I think one of their roommates or best friends or something. I think it's the roommate. And then Laurent Lucas as the father, and Joanna Priest as their mother. So the plot follows a young vegetarian's first year at veterinary school when she tastes meat for the first time and develops a craving for flesh. So, why do I love it? I love the sister bond between the two main characters, even towards the end when things go crazy. As you can imagine, when you have a craving for flesh, things gonna get a little hectic, a little chaotic, a little not good. Alright. I also really was shocked at the ending and gave sacrificing yourself for love a new meaning, which I highly recommend. It was on Netflix. Some of these were on Netflix, but I don't know now. I think one of these was on Tubi. I think Raw was on Tubi, which is free. So, all right. So the poem's called "Love Bites." Swallow my love and spit me back out because I help you be you. It will make more sense if you watch the movie. But basically, what's happening to the sisters is the reason why the mom made them be vegetarian in the first place. So, alright. Number 7. So this one was also on the list of favorite movies, but like I said, wasn't fitting in. Had too many that I wanted to put on, so I just made another list. It's called Teeth. Show me your teeth. Okay, it's directed by Mitchell Lichtenstein. Sounds very German. It was released January 18th, 2008. It stars Jesse Wexler as Don O'Keefe and John Hensley as Brad, which is the creepy stepbrother. But he gets what he deserves, of course. And Don O'Keefe is the main character. There are other characters, but I was like, these are the only two I want to mention because it was kind of a lot. Like I said, period. The synopsis is still a stranger to her own body. A high school student discovers she has a physical advantage when she becomes the object of male violence. If you can imagine, it's called teeth. Just imagine where the teeth are. Exactly. Okay. Why do I love it? I think a lot of women would love to have this ability to protect ourselves. When I watched the movie, I really wanted it. I was like, if I could do that, don't bother me. You know what I'm saying? And I love that Dawn got to take control of her situations where she was being taken advantage of. unfortunately, I do have to give. If you're have dealt with like sexual violence, sexual assault, trigger warning for the movie. Things happen like that. So yeah. So the poem's called "Destroyed Ego." It's too wide. It won't fit unless I want it to. Consent is a requirement. So of course I broke the line. Uh, for that. But basically, it's kind of like, um, I really wish women could have this, but I feel like also it would help. But I also feel like men, they just, they don't know. Like, they don't believe, like, some men don't believe in consent. And it's just like this whole toxic masculinity, patriarchy, rape culture. It's just a lot going on. And I don't like it. All right. So we're going to number 6. So some of these, like I said, they might be like psychological drama. I mean, psychological horror, body horror, different subgenres. But so some people might. I feel like I think it was called a psychological horror when I looked it up for the information. So hopefully I don't get no flack for this. But number 6 is Black Swan. It was directed by Darren Aronofsky. I feel like I've heard his name said out loud. That's the only reason why I have not butchered it. I probably still said it wrong. So, yeah. It was released December 3rd, 2010. I actually saw this one in theaters, and I have the DVD, as a matter of fact. As I spoil a movie we haven't talked about. But that's okay, because we're getting there. So, the main character is portrayed by Natalie Portman. She is Nina Sayers / the White Swan / Odette. Which will make sense once I tell you the synopsis. But, it's called Black Swan. She's a swan in the movie. So Mila Kunis as Lily / Black Swan / Odile. It's a French ballet that they're doing, so Vincent Cassel as Thomas Leroy / the gentleman. I think he's like the head guy, the choreographer. He's in charge, but he's like really gross. So, yeah. Winona Ryder is Elizabeth Beth McIntyre. She's the dying swan. Synopsis is they are Tchaikovsky's. So they're performing Tchaikovsky's. I definitely said that wrong. Swan Lake. So they're a New York City ballerina company. The production requires a ballerina to play the innocent, fragile white swan for which the committed dancer Nina Sayers, who is Portman, is perfect fit, as well as the dark, sensual black swan, which requires better embodiment, which are qualities better embodied by her new rival Lily, who is played by Mila Kunis. Nina is overwhelmed by feeling immense pressure when she finds herself competing for the role, causing her to lose her tenuous grip on reality and descend into madness, which she does. Why do I love it? I love how you see things through into Nina's mind, and you don't really know what's real until she knows what's real. Which, like, the first time watching it, I was like, whoa. That's not real. That's not real. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. So it was all that. I felt like this movie was a great way to show the pressure of the pressure to be perfect can have serious negative effects on someone, especially women. So, my poem is called Perfectly Imperfect. I was at my best physically, but my mind was gone far away. And it was, the ending of this movie, which they don't explicitly say, but I know it's been out for a while, but I'll let you watch it. I won't spoil anything, but they don't explicitly say anything, but it's kind of implied what happens there. But number 5, we're going to top 5. I should get this one on DVD. Cabin in the Woods. It was directed by Drew Goddard. It was released April 13, 2012. I saw this on Netflix. I do not think it is still on Netflix. It might be somewhere else. Don't quote me on that, but it's not on Netflix anymore, I don't think. It stars Kristen Connolly as Donna Polk, a college student designated as the Virgin. Chris Hemsworth as Kurt Vaughn, a sociology major and football jock designated as the athlete. Anna Hutchinson as Jules Loden, a pre-med college student, and Kurt's girlfriend designated as the whore. Frank Krantz as Marty Mikowski, a college student designated as the fool. He's like a stoner in the movie. Jesse Williams as Holden McCrea, Kurt's football teammate, designated as the scholar. So the synopsis is: the plot follows a group of college students who retreat to a remote forest cabin where they fall victim to backwoods zombies while technicians manipulate events from an underground facility. So why do I love it? I love how they make what seemed like it could have been a super formulaic cabin horror movie and subverted it. I love seeing all the monsters when they came out. And I love the ending. The ending is very dramatic. But yeah, I really highly recommend this movie. This movie is like so interesting. It's so great. It's just like it will make sense for a lot of horror movies if you knew that like somebody was there behind the scenes making them do dumb stuff, like on purpose. Which there is a reason for it, but I won't spoil that because I think you should go watch it. But here's my poem. It's called "The End Is Here." Nothing left to do but to accept our fate, which was already decided for us either way. So yeah, that was a really good movie. I mean, well, obviously really great if it's one of my favorites. So, top four. The Conjuring, directed by James Wan. It was released July 19, 2013. It stars Vera Farmiga. I've heard her name said so many times. That's the only reason why I know how to say that. Okay, as Lorraine Warren, Patrick Wilson as Ed Warren, Lily Taylor as Carolyn Perrone. So this is all like a family they call. So it's based on the Ed and Lorraine Warren, like their actual case. They're real supernatural, like supernatural investigators. I was gonna say helpers, but that didn't make sense. They're supernatural investigators. They also conduct exorcisms, or they did when they were alive. So the series is based off of their life. Well, now it's a series, but this is just number one, the first Conjuring movie. Not saying I don't like any of the other ones, but honestly, I feel like the second one was really great too. But this is gonna be the first one. So then Ron Livingston as Roger Perrone, so that's the mom and dad. Shanley Coswell as Andrea Perrone. Haley McFarland as Nancy Perrone. Joy King as Kristen Perrone. Mackenzie Foy as Cindy Perrone. Kyla. Why does it feel like it should be Kayla? Well, that's her name. Kyla Dever as April Perrone. So they had like 5 daughters in the first movie. They had a lot of kids, y'all. Okay, so the synopsis is: the Warrens come to assist the Perrone family who experienced a Christian disturbing events in a farmhouse in Rhode Island in 1971. Which, it was very intense. Why do I love it? I feel like this is one of the scariest haunted house movies I've ever seen in a long time. The movie was a great addition to the haunted house genre. So, the Conjuring means like to call on, or to like call a spirit. So that's what this poem is based on. Call on me. Be careful who you call. Be careful who you call in the afterlife, because you never know who will answer. Which, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Spoil a little bit for the second movie. I've watched it one, but I think one of the kids messed up because they made a homemade Ouija board, and so the spirit came out. Y'all don't play with none of that. Don't make a Ouija board. Don't buy a Ouija board. Don't get a Ouija board game on your phone. Don't mess with a Ouija board. And I've never seen a ghost, as far as I know. I'm not opposed to seeing one, but of course, doesn't mean it's not going to be scary. But be careful. You're trying to reach somebody, you might reach the wrong somebody. Speaking of reaching the wrong somebody, number 3 is also directed by James Wan. Insidious, the first Insidious. I have actually not seen. I've seen all the Conjurings except for how they branch out. Like I haven't seen all the Annabelles. I have not seen La Llorona. I've seen the Nun. The Nun. Very bad. But yeah, I have not seen all of the Insidiouses, but the first one, for sure, the best. I'm saying that now. I haven't seen all of them, but I'm gonna say it. Alright, it was released April 1st, 2011. I want to say I actually went to the theater to see Insidious, Conjuring, and yeah. Okay, yeah, those two. I think I definitely went to. No, Insidious, I saw it on Netflix, but The Conjuring, I think me and my friend went to go see it. Okay, it stars once again Patrick Wilson's in this movie too. Patrick Wilson as James Lambert, he's the dad. Rose Byron as Renee Lambert, that's the mom. Lynn Shay as Elise Rayner, she's like the medium, psychic medium. Ty Simpkins as Dalton. Y'all, I can't read. Dalton Lambert. That's one of the sons. Did I not put the other son on here? I sure did not put the other son on here. Well, I think Dalton's the one that's having the issues anyway, so. Barbara Hershey as Lorraine Lambert. I think that was the grandma. Brian Bowie and Madison Bowie as Kaylee Lambert. That was the baby, so they had twin girls. I surely did not put the next son. Did they not put that in? Well, they had 2 sons and 1 daughter. But anyway, I think so. Y'all seen this one? The story centers around a couple whose son inexplicably enters a comatose state and becomes a vessel for a variety of malevolent entities in an astral plane. In an astral plane. So, that's another thing. Be careful what you're dreaming out there. Anyway, why do I love it? This is another scary movie that scared me on the first watch. It also had very unique premise and unique and very scary demons. The lipstick face demon, that scene when he's behind the dad, I don't know if it would get me now, but even after the movie when I would watch it, it would still get me. But it was so great, y'all. The poem's called Taking Flight. I can fly high in my dreams, but sometimes I go too far and lose myself. What do you want? Okay, so now we're going to the top two. Number 2 is The Babadook. I know now it's kind of been memed and it was in the LGBTQ category, but y'all, if you go watch that movie, let me keep going. It's directed by Jennifer Kent. It was released May 22nd, 2014. It's an Australian, another foreign movie. It stars Ellie Davis as Amelia Van Neck, and her son is played by Noah Wiseman as Samuel Van Neck, and then Tim Purcell is the actual Babadook. It's based on Kent's 2005 short film Monster, which follows a single mother who must confront her son's fear of a monster in their home. Why do I love it? I actually loved this movie. Actually scared the shit out of me the first time I watched it, so it left a great first impression. It was very. I love horror movies, but sometimes they don't be scary. So if they're on this list, some of them on this list, they're not. They will be scary. I'm trying to think, is there anyone that I really loved that wasn't super scary? Well, Cabin in the Woods, but it was really unique. Okay, well, The Teeth and Raw, since they're not really monster ones and let the right one in. Now, It Follows had this one monster in it. He was a tall monster. If y'all watched the movie, that one definitely scared me. Even though I feel like that movie, the premise is very scary and very unique, but it wasn't super jumpy for me or super scary for me. But the Babadook, oh, it was. And I love that the monster is really a symbol for grief, and I think that is such a unique way to display it, especially with the ending. So I highly, it was, once again, everything was on Netflix. Now it's not. It was on Netflix. I highly recommend watching it. I'm not going to spoil too much, even though I just said the monster is basically a symbolism for grief, but it's really great. So the poem is called Letting Go. Grief can trap you like a Houdini trick, but then there's always a cheat. You can always get yourself out of anything, you know what I mean? Alright, here we go. This one's gonna be a lot. Drum roll, please. Number 1. This is all of Jordan Peele's movies. Yes. Of course, the director is Jordan Peele. So I'm going to start off with Get Out. The release date for Get Out was February 24th, 2017. And then 2 years later, Us on March 22nd, 2019. And then his latest movie, Nope, July 22nd, this year, 2022. Okay, so the cast for Get Out was Daniel Kaluuya as Christian Washington, a young black photographer who's invited by Rose to her family's house. Allison Wilson as Rose Armitage, the daughter of the Armitage family and Chris Washington's girlfriend. Lil Rel Howery as Rob Williams, a TSA airport police officer and Chris's best friend. So that's the cast for Get Out. Us. So there's Lupita Nyong'o. She plays Adelaide Addie Wilson, and then her tethered character is called Red. Wilson Duke, Gabriel Gabe Wilson. So this is the main family in the story. And then his tethered, which is like their evil doppelgangers, is called Abraham. And then Shahadi Wright Joseph, she plays Zora Wilson, and her evil doppelganger tethered character is Umbre. Evan Alex, he plays Jason Wilson. He's the son. He's the youngest son. And then his evil tethered is called Pluto. So, now let's get to the cast of Nope. Once again, Daniel Kaluuya coming back. He plays Otis O.J. Hayward Jr., and he's Otis's son. They own the ranch. I have a whole video about this movie. So if you want to know more about what I think about it, Kiki Palmer is Emerald M. Hayward. That's his sister. And Daniel Pereira as Angel Torres, a tech salesman at Fry's Electronics. Stephen Yoon as Ricky Jupe Park, a former child star / owner of the theme park Jupiter's Claim. And then Michael Wincott as Antlers Hoist. Gosh, I am butchering these names. He's a cinematographer. He's like a really great cinematographer that they need in the movie. Which, like I said, I have a whole video about it. So Get Out, the plot follows a young black man who uncovers shocking secrets when he meets the family of his white girlfriend. Let me tell you something. If you're with a white person, they say, "Oh, I didn't tell my parents about you." Do what the movie says. Get out. Not saying that you could literally be doing the same thing they're doing in the movie, but I don't think that's a good look. No matter what's going on with them. You know what I'm saying? Okay, the film Us is it follows Adelaide Wilson and her family who are attacked by a group of menacing doppelgangers. And then Nope. So Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer are horse wrangling siblings attempting to capture evidence of an unidentified flying object. Why do I love them? So I'm just gonna put them all together. I love how unique and refreshing Peele has been as a director. I love that every movie can be interpreted in many different ways, so viewers can get a lot of meanings out of them. And with Nope, there have been so many theories. I haven't watched many, but my other friend, she's really been into it, and it's really interesting to hear all the things that she has gotten from it. Us, I don't care about the plot holes. Matter of fact, I got it right here. I also have Get Out, but Oh, it matches me. I also have Get Out, but I'm not gonna use that for the thumbnail. Um, but I don't care about the plot holes. Okay, I do kind of wish that they had just focused on the main family. I feel like that would have been interesting. Like if they had just come out, um, which I highly recommend watching all three of these movies. 1,000,000%. Watch them right now. Once the video's done, go watch them. Um, but I feel like it would have been like, I mean, of course I loved it. They're all in number one, right? My favorite one though, I feel like would be Nope, Us, and then Get Out. Those would be my order of the Jordan Peele movies for my favorite. Um, I just feel like he just keeps getting better and better as well. But Us, I feel like would have been more interesting if it was just the main family. I'm not gonna spoil anything else. But Get Out, that was perfect to me. Nope, perfect for me. Uh, but here's the poem I wrote. It's called "We Can Survive." Show off your skills to prove that black people can be the heroes too, not just die. And that's what I love. I love that he's like, people asked him would he have a white lead, and he's like, "Oh, I've seen that movie." Because it's true. There are so many movies where black people are in the horror movies, but they are gone like the first 20 minutes. But I love that we are being in his movies the center of attention. I really love it. And I think that is really great. And I love them. So, these are my top 10 favorite horror movies. What are your favorite horror movies? And let me know in the comments. And I will see y'all next week to talk about my favorite album.